Hey you guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey, back with another video. So I wanted to follow up with you guys. Trying to do this whole tripod thing on the bed while I'm eating here with you guys, but so far so good, I guess. I already started noticing they being the news reporters are starting to put up the footage from the various interviews I had with some of the news reporters on site at that rally. So it's looking good, looking good. I'm actually amazed at that. And actually, again, here's the hat. It has 45 and 47 on it, 45 to 47, which is actually spot on. By right, he should have gotten that. Other one, he should have gotten 46, which is why I think it's great that they put the dash there, because it kind of signifies that. So I like it. I like it a lot. Actually, let's see here. I like it. Wear mine with a little tilt to the side, if you will. No, but actually, it's a good hat. It really is. And I don't. Oh. And of course, another way you'll know it's a legit hat, of course, since it did come from the rally, but it says his name on the back, Trump, of course. That's how you know you have an official hat. Also, just so you guys are aware, beware of counterfeits, because the inside of the cap looks like this, meaning like it's a very clean lining inside the cap. If you see any other caps that look kind of janky, if you will, meaning like the stitching and everything looks very off, very cheap, chances are it's a counterfeit. So just a little tip there. But that was a great experience like no other. Let me tell you guys, I remember the night before, I was actually, after I actually came into Milwaukee, I remember I got there, I kept thinking like, do I really want to go to this rally or not? I was already starting to have second thoughts, because I usually, whenever you guys have to excuse me because I'm talking to you while I'm eating. So, I mean, if you guys want to go grab something to eat while I'm talking to you in this video, please do. You know, think of it like us talking over dinner, if you will. We're more casual, not really as formal. I feel like there's a time and place for everything when it comes to that. And this is more of an informal approach. Just more, for me, sitting at home and relaxing. So, anyhow. When I had made it to Milwaukee, I kept thinking to myself, like, do I really want to go to this rally? And it was so crazy because I've been thinking about it. Initially, I missed several of the rallies in the past I really wanted to attend, and I was so heartbroken about that. And there was one that was held in Minden, Illinois, which I don't know why the hell would they choose Minden, Illinois. I could not figure that part out. First and foremost, and I've been in Illinois all my life, I never knew a Minden, Illinois. Got a notification. I never knew a Minden, Illinois ever existed. Never even heard of it until then. I'm like, who the heck is setting up all these rallies, and why would they choose Minden, Illinois? And so I was disappointed with that. I couldn't go to that one. Then several other ones that fell in line after that. There was the one that was one before this Milwaukee one, the one that was in Madison Square Garden. I wanted to go to that one, but I've already been to Madison Square Garden before, so I was just like, I don't know. I kind of tossed it at the side, like, well, I just missed it. But this one in particular, I felt compelled to go to. I don't know why. Something just said, you know, you need to go to this one. I didn't know what I was getting ready to walk into. And that's where we're going to start talking more about that here right now. So I always point this out to you guys. I tend to love to dress. That's just how I am. That's genuinely how I am. It's very rare you'll catch me wearing jeans. Again, if I'm doing something recreational, like maybe going to play some pool, billiards, or if I'm going to the movies, or let's say going to like a comedy club, which I haven't done that in years. Things like that. You know, that's one thing. I wear jeans, you know, something a little bit more casual. But for me, baby, when I'm out there, I like to dress up. So anyhow, I was dressed up that day, and I remember, you know, I think when I was dressed up and I had the pin on, I had the Trump pin on, I was already getting stares, but it was good stares. Everyone was kind of like looking like, oh, she's here for the rally. Like, yeah, I'm here for the rally too. And the Hilton was packed. It was extremely packed. Such a regal hotel, even though it's an older hotel, but the inside of the rooms are top tier. And, you know, hell, to be quite honest, if there was a Trump hotel there, I would have went there rather than go to the Hilton. I mean, of course, because that's just showing support. And I know the quality of those type of hotels when it's pertaining to the Trump hotels, because I once worked in one of them. That thing too. Now, taking it a step further, when I came out and I ended up getting my Uber, got dropped off, I remember I was walking up the pathway. It wasn't even that cold to me. Maybe it's because I'm so used to it being from the Midwest. But the Michigan people, they were like, it's cold. I'm like, no, it's not. I remember I was like on the fence. Do I wear heels or do I wear flats? I said no. I'm so used to wearing heels and standing on my feet for long periods of time, especially from coming from an environment where you have to. Well, you don't really have to wear heels, but it's more of a choice. You're working in hospitality, and some of the ladies know what I'm talking about when I say this, especially when it's a certain hotel type, like it's a 5-star, like the Trump as an example. You know, there is a certain image we focus on presenting when it comes to presentation, not only when it comes to how the entire environment looks, but also when it comes to the individuals who work for the establishment. So of course, being I guess you could say jokingly a Trump girl, if you will, working in one of those hotels, that was something we've always done. We kept our hair, nails, everything up to par. The way we dressed had to be top tier, as well as down to the heels. And for that being the case, you know, oftentimes people stand for long periods of time, walking around for long periods of time, and we become accustomed to it to the point where it doesn't bother us. So to put it plainly, it was something that I was like numb to. So for me, standing for long periods of time, like for an entire shift, it didn't really bother me. So I decided, I opted for wearing my heels that day. It was just kitten heels. The ladies, you know, but it was a sleek kitten heel. It was like a patent leather shoe. It was good. So I was walking up, and I remember I was kind of going in because I want to be incognito. I don't know anyone from the area, and I'm just like, I just want to kind of go in, see what it's like, and check it off my list, because I had it on my bucket list as one of the items I wanted to accomplish. So I did just that. I remember when I was walking up, I was asking one of the ladies, like, oh, is this where the lines are starting over here? She's like, oh, yeah. I said, wait, who's that over there? She was like, oh, there's news reporters over there. And she said, you know what, if you get pulled, don't be surprised. She was like, you look amazing. And I was like, oh, thank you. I'm thinking to myself as she said that, I'm like, God, please don't let them pull me. Don't let no one pull me, because I don't know if I'm ready. It's just like that whole getting into your own head, if you will, where you're just like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it. But then when it's time to do it, you're a rock star with it. Now, as I'm walking up, no one had approached me at that point. I was just walking up, started a conversation with some people that were already standing in line in front of me. We were kind of like, you know, just passing time. And by that point, I think it was like maybe a little bit past 10 a.m. Now, mind you, we couldn't get in through the doors until 4 p.m. Okay. So again, I stood that long period of a time in heels, and it didn't bother me at all. Did not skip a beat. I actually stood for longer periods of time in regards to work, just like that. And you become accustomed to it. That's just that. Now, fast forward, you know, I was actually recording, you know, taking some images, like taking pictures and recording, like who all was there at certain times, as you guys saw in some of my video clips. And then that's when news reporter #1 started. I think in one of the clips, you guys will hear him in the background. He would say, I paraphrase it. He said, "Hey, pretty lady," or something like that. Is it okay if we took a moment to interview you? And I think that was when I was like, oh, sure you can. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but you would hear it in one of those clips that I uploaded a day ago. And I was thinking. I actually said something aloud. It was like a Freudian slip. I was like, oh my goodness, or something to that nature. You would catch that in the clip. That wasn't meant to come out. It was what I was thinking. I'm like, at that point, I was thinking, what did I get myself into? But I was like, oh, no turning back now. So fast forward. He started asking me questions, very complimentary, and I went with that. And I have to look at the footage, and I'll make sure to upload it once it is there, if it's already up, okay? Now, next thing you know, I'm rambling. I'm not eating as I'm talking to you guys. At various points moving forward for those next few hours, that's when more news reporters started approaching me. And it was so funny. It was back to back to back. I was like, what is going on here? And then a lot of the onlookers who were there for the rally as well would stop by and was like, they wouldn't say ma'am. They would ask me my name, and I tell them, and they were like, you did an amazing job. You sound so good. Maybe you should consider getting into politics. And I laughed because I've actually heard that over the years. I don't know why. I shy away from the idea, but I have people on my job, I'm talking about like executive management and various other roles, who would say, Jessica, you'd be really good at politics. You should have gotten into politics. And for years, I ran from it. Even as much as I hate to talk about this person, I don't hate them, but I just hate having to bring them up. My ex-fiance, as I spoke about in one of my older videos, he's a politician in Chicago. He was one who was trying to get me to get into it for years. And I said, no. And so it's one thing to be the significant other to one who's already in the field versus you being that one in the field. I don't know. It's something I hear it so often. I think about it now and again, but I still feel like I'm on the fence about the idea of ever running for politics. So with that being said, I don't know. It's a lot to think about, but I've had that thrown at me for years. And as you guys already know, these people will say these type of things and not realize that I actually have a degree in the field itself too. So I actually hold a political science degree. So it's kind of funny to get those type of responses from people initially without them even knowing my background, knowing I actually hold a piece of paper pertaining to that field of study. It's just something to think about. It really is. I have to really think about it if I would ever pursue it someday. But not to digress. The point I'm trying to make, it led to me being interviewed by 7 different news stations, 7 different news reporters in total. All of them turned out fairly well. I would say the one that I was not so happy about was with Channel 7. I felt the lady that was doing the interviewing was very much nice and nasty. And sadly enough, she was doing it in such a way, I guess because she probably was not liking the answer I gave her, you know, more so in terms of my support when it comes to Trump. And the fact that I actually fall into that group of being more of a longtime supporter of Trump. You know, even prior to that, like I was one of those people that supported Obama, the Obamas. But it was because they're such great orators. They are great when it comes to speaking to the hearts of the people, and it's kind of hard to ignore that. But once that was done, and I became more aware of what was truly going on and coming to the realization that the Obamas really didn't do anything for this nation. They didn't. They talked a good game and had us under a hypnosis of sorts. But when it was all said and done, they haven't done much of anything for us as a collective. But I can say this. When Trump got in, he did quite a bit compared to the others, and he stood by his word 100%. Promises kept. So with that being said, that's why I didn't budge. Didn't think twice when it came to voting for him again. And she didn't like that answer. I guess that's the case. We'll see if she puts that little bit up. I doubt it. If she does, it better be pretty accurate and very professional in terms of her presentation. I would hope that she doesn't do anything to the footage, let alone say anything that could be considered distasteful in regards to my response to her questions. I really hope that she would keep it professional and put her feelings to the side and just understand that even with her being a news reporter, we all have a right to feel and hold the views that we hold based on our own past experiences. You cannot hold that against the individual just because their views, their perspective does not align with yours. So fast forward, it was almost heading towards 4 o'clock. It was like maybe 15 minutes till they started to get us lined up. I talk to you guys while I'm eating. I'm trying to get us in order for lining up and going in. We did just that. The footage was phenomenal. And yeah, the seating. Let's talk about the seating. Oh my gosh, this is so good, you guys. The tofu is amazing. It's amazing. You put some type of seasoning or some type of spicy sauce over it. It's like they soaked it in. It's so good. I don't know if you can see that. Yes. You guys can see it. Perfect. I don't know what they did with this tofu, but it's amazing. I don't do meat, so you guys already know that. Some of you guys who've been a long time followers on my page, you know I'm not a fan of meat. So I always like to look for alternatives. So we headed in. Oh, so they had a system in place of how they wanted people to fill up the seats, so to speak. So one section needed to be filled up first before the next section followed thereafter. So I went looking for a section, or looking around. I was with a group of people. We were all going to sit in the same area. Then somehow, I think I was signing up for something with Turning Point Action. I then turned around. They were gone. I was like, oh, I couldn't find them. I'm like, what the heck? Where did they go? We didn't exchange numbers or anything at that point. I was like, damn it. So now I'll be sitting by myself. So I thought. So I went walking around. Let me go to the next section and see if this is a bit open. I found out the section I ended up walking up to was the section that was actually facing the stage. And I didn't realize how good the angle was going to be until I actually sat down. So I finally went in and got my seat. I was like, this is pretty close. I was really amazed how close it was. I was so thankful. But I was very excited. And it sure the heck beats sitting behind him with his back facing you. No one wanted that section. No one wanted that section. We're like, no, we want to see him. We don't want to sit behind him. I mean, eventually he would have turned around and did his dance and entertained us, but that's no fun. We want to see him the entire time. And whoever else is coming on stage, don't get me wrong, the other people too, but mainly him. So I got a good seat, thank God. And then also, not realizing how good the angle was going to be too, because with some of my images, you guys, you're going to notice, I was sitting in an area where, because I think he has the teleprompters. So it's the one that was on, it was on the right side. And the teleprompters, like when he looks right into it, it looks like he's looking directly in our angle, which is so cool. It was cool how it laid out. So like how I'm looking at you guys like this. Imagine the teleprompter being in front of my eyes, right? And I'm looking into the camera like this. Yeah, it looks like I'm looking right at you, but I'm actually looking at the tele. It's that kind of thing. And actually, they can see through that glass from what I understand. But either way, the view, the angle was phenomenal because it looked just like that when you look at the photos I took on my page. But I really liked it. It was pretty cool. Now, it was something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah. After the rally and I headed back to the hotel, I did not expect what was going to happen next. So I got in the elevator and out of nowhere, 5 Secret Service people got on with me. So there were 6 of us in total. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? And what's so funny is because that morning, actually that morning now I think about it, when I was coming down the elevator, a Secret Service person got on the elevator at that time as well. I'm just like, what in the entire hell is going on? Like, but at the same time, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to witness. And I couldn't help but record the conversation because the conversation was so comical. You guys will hear a little bit of it where the young lady was talking about how old the hotel is, because it's an old hotel, but it's a very well kept up hotel, to say the least. And so excuse me guys, I'm still trying to eat this and talking to you guys, but yeah, the conversation was just so relaxed. It wasn't as serious. It was more of a off the clock casual talk conversation. It just shows that they too have a personable side to them, which is why I had to record that little bit there. I just thought it was so adorable because the way they were talking is like, you know, when you think about when they're on the clock, they have to be very serious, very stern in their appearance and how they interact with people. But when they're off the clock, they're just like chatting it up and laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing. So I had to record that and put that up for giggles. And of course, as you guys know, I blurred out their faces. So I did that because, you know, just to make sure all bases are covered. I don't think it matters if you do it or you don't, but I just do it out of respect to them. But other than that, it was a phenomenal experience. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I wish I could have got a chance to go to another one. Or whatever events they may have coming up in the future, who's to say? If there are any other events to come down the pipe after he wins the election, I would love to attend. I would love it. He made a statement during the speech about how some of his right-hand people, if you will, would say no one wants to work for Trump. Or that's what they've been hearing, that no one wants to work for him. He mentioned like it's because he expects top quality, top tier people to be on his team. And he mentioned something about Secretary of State or Secretary. I believe he said Secretary. I kept thinking to myself, like, I would love to be your secretary, you know, take on those tasks. I mean, who wouldn't, to be a part of a phenomenal team like that? I think the Trump organization is such a heavy hitting team, in my opinion, on a professional scale. Like, to hear that someone would even tell him that no one wants to be on his team, it blows my mind. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, who wouldn't want to be on that team? Just looking from the outside in. But, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to hear that during his speech. And, yeah. From there, that was when I had to prepare for my next trip, and the rest was history. That is all for this video, you guys. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I definitely want to welcome all the newcomers who are joining my pages here. I do see you guys trickling in, and I do appreciate you. Just so you're aware, consultations are still open, except for this evening. Obviously, I'm kind of chilling out with it being Sunday. I usually like to have Sundays as my day of rest. But just know that the consultations are still open for this upcoming week. For those of you who are not aware, I'm actually in the field house when it pertains to keynote speaking as well as motivational speaking. So let's say you have an organization that you're a part of, and let's say you have an event that's coming up, and you would love for me to come and partake in that experience with you all. Have someone from the head of your organization to reach out to me, where we can then, of course, go over the appropriate details and continue to move forward accordingly. Furthermore, a lot of this information you will find on my website as well. So as always, I'm definitely sending you guys off with love and light, and I will see you in the next video.